Now we look at the beauty of the game. The beauty of the game is very, very important. The beauty of the game is inside the banks. What happens inside the banks? Everything happens in front of you, but you are not observing it keenly. But you need to understand that. Okay? Hmm? Why you need to understand every single thing happening in front of you, but which is very, very important to you and your life. But you're not understanding the same thing. The same thing which you're not understanding. Okay, the glass is on your, yeah, the glass, the opticals. You are having opticals, and that optical you are searching everywhere. But if you look at the mirror, you will come to know that reflection, that okay, you are having that optical in front of you. Okay, yeah, you are wearing that optical, and that's the reason the beauty of the life and the beauty of the game is everything happens in front of you and you don't know what is happening. That's the game. Because always remember, there is a saying inside the English, the proverb, the devil is in the details. Everything happens in front of you, but you don't know what is happening. So let us come to know, let us start, okay, what is happening behind the scenes, and we will, okay, take it one by one. Okay. Okay, okay, in one of the reality, I said the wheels. Okay, I said about the wheels, I explained it there. But something from A here, and B goes to here. This is a wheel. And the rule, what is the rule of the wheel? The rule of the wheel, any wheel inside the world, that the top point goes to the bottom point, and the bottom point goes to the top point at one period of time. Then why the hell your life is not going at okay, then why the hell your life, especially the common man's life, everywhere is not going from the top, is not going from the bottom to the top, and the top to the bottom. Okay, the common man's life is not reaching the first top point. Why it's not reaching the top point? Why the rich elite life is giving. Rich elite is having the more and more wealth with him, more and more. Okay, he is having more wealth no. Okay, and his income is very less. He's taking very less income because he's not chasing the income, he's chasing the wealth, and you are chasing the income. There's a lot of difference between income and wealth. Income is what you intake after 30 days. Income, that is called as income. But wealth is overall work without worrying about your health. Wealth. Overall winning plus having a good health. That is the wealth. The health creates the wealth, and the wealth creates a good health. That's the reason they are two opposites in this. But the government and the rich and the services, whatever they give you, okay, but here you, the government and the rich, okay, they are giving you the salary. It may be private, or it may be the government. Both of them, they give you the salary. When they give you the salary, you are giving them back. What is that? The middle class, and they are chasing the services. They are chasing the services. And they are chasing the goods and commodities. And the banks are the at the center point of radius. What are the banks? So without wasting any time further, let us draw a diagram. This is okay, consider this as a circle. Okay, I have not read. Okay, so if this is a circle, this is the point, and this is what? The government plus the rich. The government plus the rich. Okay, this is the government plus the rich. Okay, and this is the government plus rich, and here you are. Where here you are. Okay, here is the middle class, the MC plus PC, that is working class, poor class. That is poor class. That poor class always works for the rich class, the government and the rich. The government means the ministers, okay, whom we call it as the, okay, ruling party. The ruling party means, okay, the ruling party is what, okay, which has won the election, and the opposition party, okay, which has lost the election. The persons who have won the election and they lost the election, they are winning it every single day, because nothing is there, okay, because these two people are the real winners, the real winners, the real winners, okay, the real winners, okay, where the okay, only the difference is too much, okay, only the difference is here too much. See, the difference is the ruling party, okay, and the opposition party. The ruling party, okay, what it gets, it gets the primary source of corruption. It gets the primary source, the primary source of corruption. It has primary source of corruption. The opposition party gets the funding, from the other, gets the funding in order to keep quiet, okay, because, okay, and both of them, they show something called as competition, or, okay, in a question, okay, in a question, because they get the funding from the same rich man. They get the funding from the same rich man in order to keep quiet, because they get the funding from rich man, because for 5 years this opposition, they have to, okay, he has to take, he has to give it to both in order to sustain. These people, they get the source of infection, okay. The only rule of democracy is somewhat rigid. Those who win the election, they get the primary source of corruption. What is that? Commission. And those who are in the opposition party, they have to wait for 5 years, and they have to do blah 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 action. So which means the rules are rigged. The rules are rigged, fixed. When the rules are rigged and fixed, okay, when the rules are rigged and fixed, okay, you don't have anything to worry about. Okay, see, this is the banks, center of radius. The banks, they act as center of radius, where the middle class, okay, middle class and the PCs, they pass out what? The deposits. The deposits is what? The deposits, okay, means the salaries. This government and the rich, they pass to the banks. What is the this satisfy salary? This is, okay, government salary or the private salary, whatever it may be, the private salary or else the government salary, okay. These people, they pass the government salary, and these people private salary, and these people, which means the salary happens at this junction. The salary happens at this junction, and this salary is on your name, on the MC, on the poor PC, poor class name, which means the poor class and the middle class name, so which is going to be taxed, okay, and the salary will be cut. And you know what? The salary will be cut, okay, okay, the PF, the provident funds will be cut. And you know, this provident funds, who is going to take it? The government is going to take it, okay, because, okay, as a, it is going to borrow versus it, and it is going to pass the interest to the banks. Now, okay, they have given you the, if you think like, okay, they have passed you the salary, this is a, okay, they have passed you the salary, okay, this rich man has passed the salary, and this, okay, and whatever the salary you, they have passed here, the government plus the rich, the government plus the rich, okay, whatever the salary they have passed it to you, okay, that becomes, that is in banks only. Why? Because they know something about the banks. What is that banks? The banks are working for inflation, and these two people are working for inflation, okay. When these three people are working for inflation together, the banks want inflation, the government and rich wants inflation, so that's the reason your salaries are, okay, coming down to here and falling here. Why it is going to come and fall here? The reason is simple. It's quite shocking that the government and the rich always wants the salary to be inside the banks, but they are not going to give it in the form of the cash, because the cash can be used anywhere, right? The cash, if they give it to you, the printed cash, it can be used anywhere. But they're giving this salary, your hard earned income, on inside the bank accounts, inside the bank servers. They're filling it. Why they're filling it? Tell me why they're filling it. Why they are filling the salary inside the bank servers? Means that is a digital account. That's a digital account. That's a digital account. That is a digital cash. They are passing it, and you are taking it inside the ATMs. Tellers. Okay, that is different. That is different. And most of the times you are doing the digital transactions. Yes or no? Yes, of course. Yes. If you are doing the digital transactions inside the anywhere, that is going to I will talk about the digital transactions later. Okay, now the salary happens in the digital cash. What is the meaning of that? Because they know, and the moment that thing comes, the moment that particular thing happens inside the banks are going to cut your there is a mutual agreement. There's a mutual agreement. What is the mutual agreement between these things? The mutual agreement is very, very simple, that they have to cut your loans and EMIs, because you can run away with the cash. You can run away with the cash. You can run away with anything, and you have to put in like they say like it is for your convenience. Yes, it is for your convenience. Okay, well, I'm good. But the hidden message is they want you to trap it. Okay, they will cut the moment the salary comes. They will cut that head of that salary by whatever the loans you have done. They will take it. For that thing, they need that salary to happen inside the banks, because they can't trust you. They will not trust you. They will never ever trust you. When they say we will trust you, they will never ever trust you. So that you should not trust on anyone. You need to understand that. Okay, that is the first. And whatever you have done inside the banks, okay, whatever the cost is, that yes. And ATMs, subscriptions, whatever done, that is recurrent billing. Whatever done, every single thing you have given it, okay, the bank's accounts, bank accounts details for that thing. So when you have given the bank account details for that particular thing, so what the hell they have done? Okay, because that is a recurrent billing, because the subscriptions have a recurrent billing. Okay, always subscriptions have recurrent billing. Okay, all the things, all the stuff. Okay, well and good. But if I look at this circle, the government and the rich sits at the top of the wheel, and the middle class top of the wheel means top of the tire, and the middle class and the poor class, they sit at the bottom of the tire, and the banks are at the radius. The bank is the central point, that is a radius, that is acting as a in between mediator guy between the government and the rich as well as the middle class. It is communicating. It's just a communicator. And now it has other components. Now it has other components through which it is making you. Because you need to understand what the government and the rich will give you, they are going to take from you. The government and the rich knows that you have to pay the bills. The government and the rich knows that you have to pay for the water bill, electricity bill, chai wale ke bill, दूध वाले का bill, or istri ironing bill. Okay, all these bills you have to pay, which means they are passing this small amount, which is very, very small, in order to sustain your life only for that 30-day period. So that you have to come again and again to the office, again and again from 9 to 5 or 7 or 9, and you have to do the job. And at the same point of time, they can't grow the value of buying power of this particular number. They cannot grow the value of this. They cannot grow the buying power of this value of number which have passed inside the bank account, because they can't increase the value. They cannot increase the value. Why they can't increase the value of that buying power of that particular numerical value? Means whatever the numerical value you have passed, just like 20,000, 25,000, 30,000, 1 lakh or 10 lakh or 15 lakh, they have to reduce that buying power over a period of time with respect to inflation. Why is with respect to inflation they have to reduce it? Because the devil is in the details. Just apply your mind what I am saying. Just apply your mind what I am saying. Simple, brothers. Just apply your mind. It's very, very simple. I will tell you. Whenever you go to the banks, you will hear, you will see the one board. Okay, you will see the interest rates. And one thing you commonly find it out is that the loan interest rates are very, very much higher. The loan interest rates are much higher than the deposit rates. Who are the depositors? Most of the times, who are the depositors? Who will deposit inside the banks? It's you boys, it's you girls, it's you ladies and gentlemen. The working class guys, the middle class guys, and the poor class guys who are very poor, who don't have the knowledge of banking, who don't have anything to do with the banking. Okay, yes, those people, they are going to pass that salary inside, they are going to keep that value inside that particular account. Okay, that is first thing. Then second thing, what the banks say is that okay, always keep the money inside the banks, it is going to be safe. First thing they will say, okay, if you keep, okay, always do digital transactions, don't go for, always go for less cash. And that is the thing which appears as very good thing from the front view. But if you look at the back view, what is the stabbing view? Okay, where they will stab you really well. Why? Because they will decrease the buying power. The banks always, they decrease the buying power of the numerical value, that is hard earned income, hard earned salary, okay, which you have got after 30 days. That is the reality. Okay, that's the reason they want your salary, that number, that value, to be inside your bank accounts, so that they can reduce the buying power of your value, because they have to make the loans to win. They have to make the loans, the debts to win. The loan is an asset for them. And you think like deposit, okay, means I am depositing. The deposit, you can take it out any point of time. The deposits, you can take it at any point of time from that system. And the system always wants you to enslave. How the system wants you to enslave? Because they does not want you to get happy. That system does not want you to get happy, because it will give you some of the juice in order to keep you sustained inside the life. And at the same point of time, okay, it is going to make you or break you, okay, in order to make you to pay the loan with the interest well on a time in an installment. That's the reason you have to pay, you have to work from 9 to 5 or 7 or 9 every single day of your life, and you can't miss the things, because if you miss that thing, the salary is going to cut. And how you are going to pay the bills, how you are going to go for the groceries, how you are going to go for the entertainment systems, you are not going to do it. So which means you are in such a rigged place, you are in completely rigged place, okay, from the starting point to the ending point. So now what you need to understand is that this entire life is divided into this banking systems. Okay, now the goods and services, and you are going to, how you are going to pass that money back to the government and rich, I am going to tell you right now. Okay, now first let me tell you, loan interest is, okay, greater than, okay, the bank interest. Okay, now the deposit interest, the loan interest is greater than deposit interest. Then what is the loan interest? Okay, the loan interest is much greater than deposit interest. Means whatever the loan interest they're going to give you, okay, it's deposit interest. The deposit interest, okay, is losing the buying power of the value past, value stored. The losing the buying power of value stored. This is okay, first thing. And the second thing, FRB happens. FRB, fractional reserve systems, the fractional reserve banking systems. That's a monster. This is a monster. Why this is the one? Now, okay, the fractional reserve banking system is a monster because it creates more money. It creates more money out of thin air. Out of thin air. This more money out of thin air, it is going to give you what? Okay, this is going to give you the loans for these systems. Means x plus y is equal to 0. The loans, the debt plus the deposits is equal to 0. Means and whatever the deposits are going to be there, the deposits are going to be the plus debt. Means the deposits are going to lose the value over the time. The deposits are going to lose the value over the time, and the debt has to win. And the debt has to win. Why the debt has to win? Because the banks work for debt, not for your. The banks always work for debt because the debt is an asset for them. Because the debt is an asset for them, and the debt is always an asset for them. The debt is an asset, and you know what? And the loan and the deposits, whatever you do it, that's a liability. And that's the reason, it's a game of assets versus the liabilities. Liabilities. What is a liability? Liability means disadvantage. Means if you means the banks consider your deposits to them. Your deposits as a disadvantage. Why? Because they don't know when you are going to withdraw. When particular emergency will come and when you are going to withdraw. Suppose if you are going on a bike, accident happens, finish. You need a money to pay for the bills, hospital bills, X-rays, MRI scans, all those things you need to get you stitched up and get you treated well. That's the reason they don't know about the nature of you when you're going to withdraw those funds, whatever you have injected as a liquidity inside that particular bank. The debt is an asset because they know that you have to pay interest, whatever it is going to happen. You have to pay the interest. You have to pay the interest, and you will pay the interest. You need to pay the interest with the loan, otherwise they are going to come and bang you. That's what the game is all about. That's what the game is all about. And they always require the x plus y is equal to 0. Always remember, this entire world is dependent upon x plus y is equal to 0. Y is equal to 0. This is x plus y is equal to 0. Then what is x? The x is always the x is the debt. The x is always should be in the debt, and the deposit should always lose the value. The deposits should lose the value over the time. Should lose the value over time. And the deposit should always lose the value over time, and the debt should always should compoundly, it should always compoundly increase the value over the time. Increase the value over time. What is the reason behind inflation? The inflation is simple. Why they want inflation? Why they want inflation? The reason is simple. You have think that you have given the mortgage. You have girvi. You have mortgaged a house itself in order to get some money, a huge money, in order to get that particular loan through the LTV ratio. The real estate, you have pledged some real estate inside the bank. Those bank papers are there inside the bank. When the bank papers are there inside the bank, I will tell you. These bank papers, they are inside the bank. The bank papers are inside the bank. When the bank papers are inside the bank, these bank papers, this is the real estate papers. This is the real estate papers. the real estate papers are inside the bank. The real estate papers are inside the bank, and the bank has the ownership right now. Ownership, okay. And right now, it's a ticking time bomb. It's a ticking time bomb. This is a ticking time bomb. Why it's ticking time bomb? You have to pay it. You have to pay that. You have to pay it with the okay, loan is equal to okay, amount plus interest. Okay, amount is equal to okay, p plus I. Okay, you have to pay p also, you have to pay I also. Until you pay p plus I, completely do it, then the ownership will be, then the ownership of that real estate will be restored to you. Means restoring that okay, ownership back. Okay, how to restore the ownership of that particular, you will get that real estate ownership when you pay it. So until that point of time, the banks which have the real estate papers inside that particular bank treasury, physical treasury, they have taken it from you, they have taken your signs from you, because that is the property of the bank right now. And you have to pay for the interest plus the loan in the small installments. That you can say okay, it is happy, and you can do it, but they are not having any confidence on you, because you can get accident, you cannot, okay, you lose the job, you can get accident, you can lose the job, you can die, you can cry, you can get asthma, you can get any disease in the world, lung disease, kidney disease, cancer disease, you can do anything. And when you do all these things, when you have so much problems inside the life, because you are only dependent on the salary, when you are only depending upon the salary only, that's the reason they will ask you the salary certificates. Give your income certificate, and then you will pass the income certificate to the bank's people, and they are going to say that you need to pay it in time with interest, and that is in their fear of interest. Okay, forget about that. Then what about these papers, the real estate papers which they have? They don't have any confidence on you. They don't have any confidence on you. And I said they always work for debt, and the banks always work for debt. I said, what is the meaning of that? Okay, that is a debt, because you are paying the interest. First of all, interest they have to pay, and always they work for inflation, which means the real estate value price over the period of time, okay, which you are paying the interest for the next period of 5 years, that has to increase with that value should increase. Okay, right now, why it should increase? Because if you fail to clear that money, if you fail to pay that money, okay, if you fail to pay that money, since they are working for inflation, the government is working for inflation, the banks are working for the okay, the rich man is working for inflation, all the three of them, what they will do, they will put okay, inflation. When the inflation happens, the land prices gets increased, and at the same point of time the real estate prices gets increased, which means the papers which have given it to the banks as the collateral, that valuation has already increased for the next 5 years or 10 years, how much you have agreed, which means they are safe. The banks, they are always safe, because the inflation is directly proportional to time. The inflation is always proportional to the time, because it integrates over time, because it does not differentiate, means it will not lose the value, okay, over time. Inflation, the prices of the lands, real estate, that's the rule. The price of the lands, real estate, the cars, the supreme cars, they will always increase the value over time. That's integration, because they will increase. So means whatever that value, whatever that real estate which you have passed there inside the bank, okay, you have given the papers, that will increase over the period of next 5 years or 10 years. Means if your valuation of that particular thing is $5 million, and you have taken some $2.5 million as the okay, loan, okay, don't think that that valuation of that particular thing, on the valuation of that particular thing, what we call it as. Okay, what is that valuation of that particular establishment? That is $5 million. That is not going to remain $5 million. That is going to increase over the period of time. That is going to be like maybe 10 million or 15 million. And the banks, the government, and the rich man, they always work for that, because they don't know whether you are going to pay it or not, and they always work for getting the profit each and every single day of their lifetime. And what is the profit they are going to get? Whether you pay with the interest, okay, if you pay with the interest, well and good, you are going to recover it. Congratulations. If you don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. The ownership has been, the bank has the ownership right now. Finish. You're going to lose it. तुम्हारे घर के सामने ही तुम्हारे घर का इज्जत लूटा जाएगा. उस घर का नीलामी करते हुए तुमको देखना पड़ेगा. That is the only way. You will lose that real estate, whatever the hotel is there, whatever the building is there, whatever you have kept it inside the bank as a collateral, because that has increased over the time. And the boli, they will have that, okay, boli means they will consider an auction. They will not, okay, give that value at that particular price which has increased. They want extra income. They want extra income, which means which means they have to get extra income from you. Means you cannot get your you cannot, means they have done nothing. They have taken something from you that is very valuable to you, and they have given such a money which does not even exist in the first place. They have taken something very valuable from you. What is that? Your real estate. I will tell you a joke. This is the biggest joke of life. This is okay, Michael. Okay, this is Michael. This Michael has pledged the real estate. That real estate is very valuable for him. This is very valuable for him. Okay, this is the pledge. This is the pledge, collateral, mortgage. Okay, mortgage. Okay, now this is the mortgage. This is the real estate. Now this Michael has pledged the real estate. Michael, okay, has pledged the real estate. And okay, you know what? And this is valuable for him. Okay, because his entire childhood, and his father has built it brick by brick. Okay, well and good. Okay, that particular hotel or restaurant, whatever. And he taken the 50%. Okay, that 50% LTV ratio. And that LTV ratio, what is the LTV ratio? Now, okay, now 5 million is the dollar. Now 5 million is the, I said, okay, now this 5 million, okay, out of this, okay, the valuation is 5 million. The valuation is 5 million, and the loan amount is 2.5 million. Okay, the 2.5 million, and he has taken it, in how much? He has taken it in 2020 he has taken it. And okay, in 2020 he has pledged the papers. And he has said, okay, sir, I will pay 2.5, sir. So sir, okay, this is the loan which I have taken, and you know that loan amount he has to pay with P plus I. Okay, when he has to pay with the P plus I, he has to pay that 2.5 plus that interest. Okay, that interest. Okay, now this is the thing. Okay, what is the interest he has to pay? The interest is simple, that is equal to PTR upon 100. Okay, let us consider simple interest. Simple interest is equal to PTR upon 100. If simple is equal to PTR upon 100, this, okay, 2.5 million into time is some, okay, that one is 5 years, and the rate of interest is how much? Okay, 10. Okay, and 100. Okay, because these are very small. Okay, small means, okay, okay, yes, exactly, 5. Okay, now 5 ones are 5 twos are 2 ones are 2.5s are, okay, 2.5 into 2.5, how much? Okay, 6 point, okay, means how much? 25 into 25. Okay, 625. Okay, 6.25. Okay, which means he has to pay 2.5 plus 6.25. That is 3.1. Okay, 3. 0 to 5, I think. Yes, okay, this much is the thing he has to pay. Okay, for 5, okay, let us, this is maybe very easy for you, okay, because you need to understand 0, 0, okay, and the 5 ones are 5 twos are, and 2 ones are 2, 1.25, which means he has to pay how much? 2.5 plus 1.25, which means he has to pay out $3.75 million, okay, totally to the bank to in order to recover this real estate papers. Okay, $0.75 million in order in okay to the banks in order to get the money back from the, yes, exactly. Now the real estate is the real estate. The real estate valuation goes from 2020 to 2025. In the 2025, that valuation of that particular thing, okay, the Michael has to start from 2.5 and the bank has already started from 5. Why? Let me tell you. You are not understanding the game, man. You are not understanding the game. Okay, understand the game. The bank, okay, the bank and the Michael. Okay, the bank and the Michael. If you make consider, okay, if you make it, the bank has already started it. The okay, without doing anything, Eat 5 star doing nothing, without doing anything. Okay, it has started its valuation at $5 million. Okay, in 2020, and this boy Michael has started from 2020, that to $2.5 million. Okay, and he has to pay out, okay, the target he has to achieve is $3.75 million, okay, at the rate at 10 percentage rate of interest over the next, okay, 5 years. In 2025 he has to pay out this, okay, 3.75. Okay, so the bank says to him, Michael, okay, pay it out, pay the loan with the interest really well on time, because we are, okay, hungry members, okay, we want the money back. So 3.75 divided by 5, 5 ones are 5, okay, 0.7, that is 35, and 5 means 75. Okay, 75 means 750k grand he has to pay. 750k grand per month. 750k grand. What is the 750k grand? This 1000, okay, rupees. Okay, here, okay, see. He has to pay 7,50,000 US dollars to the banks per year. Okay, per year he has to pay it. Okay, and okay, per month on an average he has to pay, okay, per month, okay, 7,50,000, 12 months are 1260, 72, 30 means how much? 2, okay, 24 means how much? 6 remains, 12,500. Yes, exactly, 62,500 into 12, 12 0, 12 0, 12 5 is 60, 12 to the 24 plus 6, 30, 12 6 is 72 plus 75. Yes, exactly, 62,500 US dollars. That means Michael has to pay 62,500 per month. He has to pay on an average. Okay, the banks will see, okay, his performance, because he has to maintain that credit score in order to get the more loan again and again. Michael has to set a business. He has to work for it. He has to take the loans for it. He has to build the things. He has to pay out with the interest, while the bank has already started valuation at 5 million US dollars, because the real estate papers, they are in the restaurant papers or the hotel papers, they are already there inside the bank. The bank holds the ownership, and until and unless Michael pays it back with the loan with the interest, he can get that ownership back after 5 years, until he has paid every single thing with interest. That's the game. So, over the period of 5 years, that is going to decide the future of Michael as well as real estate, the collateral which he has placed inside the bank. And he has worked really hard to get that, okay, hotel. He is not invested in the stock market. He does not have a big daddy. He does not have a big daddy. So what? Okay, he has to work really hard for to get that money because he has to pay it out. What happens to Michael in the next 5 years? The health conditions, the health conditions, the health conditions, the business, that is going to decide the future of real estate, what he has kept inside the bank. And that bank and that emotion of that particular real estate, Michael always has. He has that headache, he has that serpent, he has that snake around his head. Why? That snake is always telling him, come to the banks, pay it out with interest, otherwise I gonna bite you at any point of time. That is making him work. So he has to pay out 62,500, which means he has to pay 62 grand, almost 62.5 grand every single month on an average. The banks are going to maintain the balance sheets. They will see what is Michael doing. But the bank's valuation has already started 5 million. They are them because that's the reason of LTV ratio. That LTV ratio is always half. It's always half or 60%. And they are going to, I'm considering 50% LTV ratio, loan to value ratio. The value is 5. The loan is 2.5. The ratio is 1:2, half, 50%. So which means he has to get some 2.5. So when he will get them 2.5, that is how he got it. Now now talking about this thing, now the price of that restaurant or anything over the next period of 5 years, it has been increased really well. It has not doubled or tripled. I'm talking about the valuation of the 5. Now I think the valuation of that particular real estate value, suppose if you think like, Michael pays it with the interest, Michael pays the loan with the interest, well and good. That is positive case. That is positive. This is positive. What is the positive? Michael pays the loan P plus I with the interest. This is the thing, and this is the thing, and this is the thing, this is the thing. But if the negative thing, this is a positive, this is positive, but this is negative. What happens if Michael gets accident, seriously injured, seriously injured, or else the wife has taken the divorce from the Michael and she is demanding the maintenance fees. Parameters, there are a lot of factors, parameters, permutations, combinations, every single thing is there inside the life. So when all these things are there inside the life, that's the reason this Michael can get accident, Michael can get seriously injured, Michael can get divorced, Michael can get infected, Michael can yes, exactly, natural hazards, brothers, natural short circuit can happen. Anything can happen in life. And you know what, sometimes a bad impression of the institution which he is working upon, he is the boss, his public life is going to be always evaluated. So which means he has to dodge all this outside snakes. First inside snake, then outside snake. What is the outside snake? Accident, seriously injured, wife giving the divorce, means maintenance fees he has to give it. Or else again the natural hazards are the if his time is completely negative, means he is out of luck, his luck is never there. Natural hazards. And the bad impression, which means someone working inside his institution has given a wrong impression of that particular restaurant or whatever the establishment he has running, whatever the asset he has running. that producing revenue for him. So that thing also plays a role, the public role, the public influence. So okay, because he has to pay it out for 5 years. That's the reason they say never do loans in the first place. Whereas this banks, now this is the okay, now this is the negative thing, and because of which the Michael is not able to pay out the loan. Okay, pay the principal whatever he has taken to establish the asset with the interest. Then what will happen? What will happen? I don't know what will happen. Yes, something will happen, right? Something will happen. What is that? The banks already has the real estate papers. Always the rule of the banks. Okay, I will tell you. The rule of the banks. The loans are not taxed. The banks cannot claim the ownership of that collateral until and unless the borrower is paying the loan in repaying the loan in installments with the interest. Okay, you see it. You see it. The loans are not taxed. The banks cannot claim the ownership of that collateral, the pledged until and unless the borrower is paying the loan, okay, with the installments with the interest. Okay, well, if he's installments with the interest, if he's paying the installments with the interest, okay, then the ownership. Okay, so okay, the natural law of the banks, the natural law of the banks or any banks. Okay, the natural law of the banks is what the loans are not taxed. The loans are not taxed, this. And this applies for both whom the middle class and the poor class, as well as the rich man. But the rich man already has the assets before his birth. Before his birth, because when he's inside the womb of his when he's inside the womb of his mother, that is rich man's wife's womb. When he's inside the womb, then he had already got all the richness before he has taken the birth only. The birth decides your fate. Always remember, the birth decides your fate, what you're going to become. That is rich man's assets I'm talking about. Because the rich man has got assets and he has got the stocks for the compound growth. The stocks always have the compound growth. Now, the middle class and the poor class, the loans are not taxed even for them, but that rule is useless for them. Why? They say, okay, middle class and poor class, they don't have assets. They don't have assets. These people, they don't have assets, and these people have assets. But okay, the main important thing is the same rule, the similar rule. Okay, how one single similar rule is applicable to do one how one simple rule of the bank, single rule of the bank is applicable to two different sections, ethnic groups of the society, okay, which is having a major difference, that one owns the assets before the birth only, and one does not have the assets because the inflation is going to create a mirage over the mind. Okay, inflation is always directly proportional to time, and they are never ever going to get that assets because the banks, they kill the buying power. Whom to blame? The banks, or else the destiny? You should blame the Western bankers who banked all the or they written all the rules of the book. They written all the rules of the book before 300 years ago. Before 300 to 400 years ago, they written every single rule in the books of economics, that the loans are not taxed and stocks are not taxed until it's liquidated or else it is borrowed. Again, until you sell it, until you sell all the shares, because that share, what if you sell that, that selling thing will give you that, okay, if you sell that, that is going to be liquidated, that liquidity is going to be in your name, and that is going to give you, that makes you to pay the tax. That's the reason they don't want to pay the tax. They always talk in the form of stocks, because these big boys, they never ever want to pay the tax. They always want to be debt free, always want to be, they always want to have the debt. That debt, it acts as a luxury for them. And you know what? These people will never ever pay the tax. That's the reason you need to understand every single thing. Why? Why? Okay, because the loans are not taxed, because it applies the same rule. The universal rule applies to two different sections of the game. The game is played by both the rich man and the poor man. The poor man, but how the simple rule, how the singular rule, how the simple rule is applicable to two different ethnic groups of one particular society in which the loans are not taxed are there. Okay, that is going to make them, or okay, just because of this thing, the middle class people and the rich, the middle class people and the rich man is not having the assets. Okay, the middle class and the poor class, they are not having the, okay, assets, and the rich man does have assets. Before his birth only he has the assets. Before the assets, okay, remember, before means the rich man's son or daughter, she or he has all the assets, the hotels, the hotels the hotels, pubs, penthouses, pools, you know what, okay, schools, colleges, universities, industries, factories, power plants, production houses, every single thing is owned by that particular baby, which is inside the womb before the birth. When that particular man working, the poor man and the working class guys, or means the poor class, the farmers, they don't possess the asset. They don't possess the asset. They don't possess the fertile agricultural lands. They never possess the hotels. They never possess the factories. They never possess industries. They never possess anything. They never possess anything, because even if they work hard, the inflation is going to be completely high enough in such a way that these people, they don't know that they are chasing a goddamn fool's errand. That's a goddamn fool's errand. They are chasing the fugazi, that they are going to become rich one day, when they are never going to become rich one day, because the banks want inflation, and they are chasing such a dream which has never existed in the first place. That's okay. What is that? Okay, I will own the factories, I will own the industries, I will become a rich one day, because you are never going to become rich one day, because you are a fool. Because inflation integrates over time. Why? I will tell you. The goods and the services. The goods and services is, okay, the goods and services, okay, the graph, if you the goods and services, okay, means the goods and services, or the assets, if you take it, the goods and services plus the assets, okay, if you take it, all this value will be adjusted to the rate of inflation. Okay, means directly proportional. Okay, the goods and, okay, the goods and services plus the assets, okay, okay, will be adjusted to the inflation. Means, okay, if it is 5x, it is also going to be 5x. And the goods and services and the commodities will be somewhat almost, okay, 1.5x. Why? Because the goods and commodities are very less, and the assets are going to be having a high jump. Okay, and the inflation, how much? Always inflation is directly proportional to time. Okay, which means the time increases, the inflation is also increases, because all these three big boys, all these three big bastards, the bank and the government and the rich man, okay, it will always work for the inflation. Why? The government wants inflation. Why the government wants inflation? The governments want the inflation. Why? Because they want the price of the lands to be increased. If you increase the price of the land, you have to pay the increase the price of the land, and you have to pay the tax for it, you have to pay the registration charges for it, you have to pay the TDS for it. Yes, the government wants inflation. The banks, they have held the rich man's collateral. your collateral. They want, because when they hold the collateral from that starting point, that is 5 million. I said in the form of 5 million. Okay, this big boy, this Michael, okay, whatever he has given it, that valuation has already started. Okay, in 2020, that valuation is 5 million. If okay, if at the rate of 2025, when Michael is, if he's unable, if okay, it is negative, this negative thing happens. Okay, the Michael's valuation will go that, okay, thing will go at, okay, okay, I will wait. Okay, I'll have to go for some urgent purpose. Okay, you need to understand. Okay, someone is calling me. Okay, they're coming. Sorry to get interrupted, but right now 10% charge has gone because of this thing. Okay, after 1 hour, okay, I came back again. So I am discussing 1.5x, 5x, and the 5x. The goods and the commodities, okay, has been increased from 1.5x with respect to this inflation. If the assets will get increased, 5x is equal to 5x, means how much is the inflation, that much assets will grow. Okay, that assets will compound. Okay, will appreciate, compound or appreciate. The assets will compound or appreciate over time with respect to inflation. The assets, okay, if assets, d assets, okay, into integral 0 to time, this is inflation. Okay, this is integral 0 to time, okay, inflation, okay, of assets. Okay, so assets plus goods and services. Okay, you need to think like this, then only will understand this equation. This is inflation with respect to the assets and goods and services. But your salaries will never ever, the salaries, okay, which you pay for, the salaries, okay, which you get inside the government offices, plus the government jobs, plus the rich man's, the salaries which they are going to give it, that will never ever adjusted with respect to inflation. When they say blindly that okay, we have to, that is not the case. That's the reason you face a lot of problems, you face a lot of heat, and when you face a lot of heat, the tears will come. The tears will come, and then who is responsible for your tears? The three big devils: the government, the rich man, and the banks whom you trust. That is what it is. Every single tear, every single pain, every single frustration, every single insecurity, every single thing, whatever you have right now, it's because of these three things: the government, the rich man, and the banks. And how they program you into the machine so that you can feed the monster. That is the bank. They will program you into the machine system so that you will feed the monster again and again and again by working there. But you need to understand all these things. Okay. That's the reason you need to understand the bank, the Michael. Okay, at 2025, the banks know the Michael has not given. The banks always have the backups. How the banks think, I will tell you. How the banks think. The banks think in two ways: positive outcomes, negative outcomes. Always the probability. Okay, what is the probability? Okay, always two outcomes. If you toss a coin, that is going to have two outcomes. Probability. Okay, two outcomes. One is head, one is tail. That is, one is positive, whatever you ask, whatever you wish, and one thing that is never going to be your wish, means that is against your wish. The banks have to prepare for the losses, and as well as the banks have to prepare for everything. The banks, this is the positive outcome, this is the positive outcome, and mother has made shira. Okay, I'm eating it. Okay, I'm eating it. Now, the positive income is what, and the negative income is what? The positive is okay for them, and the what is negative for them isn't positive for you, is positive for you, and what is positive for them, it's negative for you. Because if you think evil, because the time is from 2020 and the 2025, and the banks have insider information that inflation is going to happen. That inflation, when it is happening, okay, that is 5 million USD dollars. USD dollars. And in 2025, that valuation can go up to 11 to 12 USD dollars. Okay, which means there is a gap. What is the gap? What is that increase? This increase is okay, 220% of its original value. Of its original value. Okay, if it's 220% of its original value, what the banks want? The banks want a bank. Okay, this entire 11 to 12 USD dollars. If the banks want this, okay, 11 to 12 USD, the banks want 11 to 12. If it is okay, what is positive for them and what is negative for them? If I'm thinking about evil, this is the evil mindset. This is evil mindset. If evil mindset, and what is about good mindset? There are two mindsets: good mindset and the evil mindset. Okay, I have to think like a banker, and if I'm a banker, what I want you to fail. Why I want you to fail? Because I know in 2020 that valuation of that particular real estate, yeah, that particular real estate value is is 5 million USD dollars in 2020. The banks know that over the period of time or the 5 next years, okay, if Michael is not able to recover his loan, okay, then we gonna get his entire real estate paper. Because the rule of the bank is what? The banks will hold the ownership of that particular thing until and unless okay that owner who has pledged the collateral inside the bank by providing the what you say the collateral, okay, he repays it in installments. That's the first. That is a major rule. That's the rule of the game. That's the rule. Okay, and if you don't know about that rule, get lost. Then you don't know anything about the bank. Which means, which means, I have to get. Okay, the banks have to get. What is the evil mindset? What is the negative for them? Okay, the Michael repays the loan 1.25 USD interest. If he's going to get 1.2, this is 1.25 USD dollars, 1.25 million USD dollars. Yeah, okay, 1.25 million USD dollars. Okay, that is interest. Okay, the banks are going to get it if Michael repays it. If Michael repays the loan with the interest. Okay, this is Michael repays the loan with the interest. That is negative outcome for him. Why this negative outcome? Because they have got only 1.25 million as interest. What is positive? Michael should lose the real estate. Why Michael should lose the real estate? That's a positive outcome for them. Because in 2025, that valuation is going at 11 to 12. Which means the starting price, this is the base price. The auction will happen, the base price. This is the auction. This 11 million USD will happen. This is an auction will happen. If this auction is going to happen, this 11 to 12 million USD, and they are going to get that, will call out the bidders. They will call out the bidders and they will say $11 million. Okay, then someone will point at 11.2, someone will point at 12, someone will point at 30, someone will point at 14, and someone will point at 15, someone will point at 60 million USD, 70 million USD, 18 million USD, 90 million dollars, 20 million dollars. And finally someone banks it, takes that valuation of that particular thing for maybe some $18 million USD dollars. One time. No more. Okay, I'm not seeing any hands here. I'm not seeing any hands here. I'm not seeing any hands here. Okay, this is the last chance. Okay, let me. Okay, if you want to increase the bid, you can increase the bid. Is there anyone who wants to increase the bid? Yes. No one. So $80 million. It is standing at one. Okay, I'm asking you again. $18 million for one time. $18 million that is going to this XYZ person. I'm asking you for second time, and third time he will ask and he will say it as sold. And when he says that sold, the bank has got that 18 million USD dollars, which is okay, of that base price, which is valued at 11 million USD dollars. The bank's always the bank, both ways. Okay, this is 11 to 12, and what they have got, final price. This is what they go for. And you know what? Okay, you know what? Remember, 18 million USDs, 18 million USDs are much greater than 1.25 million USD if he pays the interest. That is an evil thinking. This is an evil mindset. Then what is the good mindset? Okay, the positive. Okay, then what is, okay, so what is becoming, okay, this is crisscross. Okay, this is crisscross. What is bad? Okay, what is positive for the banks, that is negative for the, okay, what is, okay, what this, okay, this is okay, negative for the Michael, because he has lost his real estate. Okay, this is first. But this is positive. What is the positive? He has paid it back. Michael repays the loan with the income. He has paid it with the interest and retained the real estate and is successful. Retains real estate as well as invested properly the profits, and that's the reason his business is going on really good. Michael, congratulations Michael. Okay, well and good. This is evil mindset. And what is the good mindset? This is the thing. What is positive for the banks, that is negative for the Michael, because the banks, okay, I'm repeating again, Michael should lose the real estate if the bank is thinking evil. Okay, so what they want, okay, the positive, for them is what? That is negative for Michael, because he has to lose his real estate, and the banks has to auction it. Okay, and the auction goes on and on, and he is going to, okay, that valuation goes on for, that valuation is 5 million, okay, in 2020. That valuation has reached 2025 11 to 12, and the bank, they are going for bank, that is 11 to 12, and they started auctions, and the final price, it is sold at 80 million. The banks, they got 80 million, and the Michael has lost everything because he is not repaying it. Okay, now the negative interest. What is the negative? The banks is negative. Means that is, he has paid this interest back to the bank. That is 1.25. That is positive for him because he has paid it with the interest and he has retained his real estate. Now, now this is a good mindset. This is evil mindset. This is evil. This is evil, and this is good mindset. The bank expects you to repay the loan, repay, and it gets the real estate back. And the positive is that, okay, Michael, okay, retains everything, and the bank is telling you, and the okay, bank is not, okay, the bank is telling you, and the bank is never, okay, the bank is selling that thing, and you are losing that thing. Okay, this is how this entire, okay, so always know the full knowledge, always have the full knowledge how the banks operate. Whatever you deposit, that's a problem for them, because you can take it at any point of time. That's a gas for them, and whatever interest they are going to have, that is the property of the bank, and that you need to understand. But if you don't understand, I can't do anything. Because see, the game rule is simple. The rule of the game is very, very simple. You want your customer to win. Which customer to win? You want the common man to lose. You want the real rich man to win. Because if the rich man loses, then you are also losing. If the common man loses, you are winning. Because the banks give overwhelming loans in billions of dollars to the rich man, and millions or billions of dollars to rich man. And when they give it, they are in risk. And they have to recover it from the rich man. And they have to help the rich man themselves in order such a way that rich man has to pay it back with the interest. How they are going to help them? The government policies, the rich man and the banks, they are interconnected with each other, and and they are going to. Huh? Now, what is the law of triangle and what is the law of hexagon? The law of triangle is very, very simple. Okay, that is creation of employment opportunities. Law of triangle or law of quadrilateral. Okay, you can say. See. Okay, now this is the point. Now this is the thing. This is law of rectangle. Okay, what is the, okay, quadrilateral, whatever you can say. Now here, this is the common man. This is CM, common man. Middle class or poor class. Okay, this one. Okay, he is employed right now. He is employed, and the banks know that he is going for goods and commodities. The goods and commodities prices will be very high here. And he has to reach it here, and he has to reach it here, and when he has to reach it here, he needs something called as ladder. That ladder is what? The loan which has to be paid with the P plus I, or else the EMI. The loan or the EMI, he has to pay it out. This is the ladder. This ladder is what? This ladder is the snake. Okay, the snakes and ladders game. Okay, now, okay, in order to get this loan, he has to submit what? salary certificate. He has to submit the salary certificate, and he has to submit, or else he has to submit collateral. He has to submit the real estate, means as a collateral. हाँ हाँ बंद बंद हाँ बंद ಆಯ್ತು 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 ಬಂದೆ ಬಂದೆ ಹಾಂ ಬಂದೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಹ್ಞೂ ಅಂದೆ. Rich man or the private company. Okay, rich man or the private entity. Okay, now the rich man or the private entity is going to give you what? Okay, the government, you have to pay the taxes on salaries, and plus tax on every single commodity you have to pay it. This is the government. And okay, and the private, and therefore the rich man, you have to make the profit. And okay, and every single thing has a price. Okay, this is the living, sustaining the daily life. And okay, your money goes here, and your money goes here. Not even a single direction is towards you. Every single thing is away. Okay, you need to understand. Which means you are in the center of this particular scheme, and you are not getting any help from anyone. So that's the reason. Okay, the law of polygons and the law of quadrilateral is very, very important to understand. Again, you get employed. The moment you get employed, you have a desire. The banks know you have a desire. The government knows you have a desire. The rich man knows you have a desire. This is what all these three people know. The banks know you have a desire. The rich man knows you have a desire. And the government knows you have a desire. That's the reason they will cut you out. Every single day. They have to pay you very high for what you're doing as a service. But they will never ever pay you that much. They will cut that salary head from the tax first. And then that is taxed. Okay, and the provident fund for the PF, that is going to cut again. Yeah, that is PF. So whatever you will receive this much, okay, whatever this is this much, and you will cut, this is this much. Now for the groceries, for the living and sustaining the life, that goes this much. And you have to go for, okay, but the goods and services, okay, which are completely luxury, somewhat, okay, that is going to be this much. Then how we are going to get, okay, this value, how we are going to afford this value when you have only afforded this value. Then you have to go for entertainment, then you have to go for groceries, every single thing you have to go, and every single thing is going to be reducing. Your entire value is going to be reduced here, and you need to save for your future life, because you have to think about your families, the future generations, because you are reproducing a kid after the marriage. So congratulations. So which means you are checkmated. In every single direction you are checkmated. Here also you have to provide the salary certificate, or else real estate as a collateral. Okay, because you have the only thing is house, that house as a collateral. The government takes the taxes on every single goods and commodity, and the government has everything. So this entire thing, okay, and the rich man, okay, and using that loan, whatever you have taken it from the banks, you are taking that loan and you are going for the rich man. You are going for the rich man's store, and you are taking the fridges, TVs, everything, and you are paying the this. Okay, let me stop here. I have to go and eat, okay, the lunch, okay, dinner. Dinner you say, right? Okay, I will have to go and eat the dinner first. Okay, good. Just I ate and came. Okay, upma. Okay, this one, the four devils, and you are the centroid. Always you'll bear the centroid. Always you'll bear the centroid. That centroid is the chain link for which you are working tirelessly for the benefit of nation. Yeah. Now let us list all those. The bank, which will give you loan, that is a debt. That is debt is equal to amount is equal to P plus I. This is the debt. And this is a snake. The snake is always is equal to, okay, remember, the snake is always is equal to the snake gives out for that snake, for that empty snake, which is created for the thin air, means the empty money. The loan accounts are not there. The loan accounts are created out of thin air. The bank, they don't have that much money. That is created out of thin air. Means you are filling with. For that empty snake, you are filling with the blood. What is the blood? That is principal. What you have taken to get the goods and commodities. Plus extra blood. That is interest. Okay, you have to pay it. This is the profit for the bank. This is profit for the bank. Okay, that is not okay. You understand? You have to understand amount is equal to P plus I. This P is for getting the goods and services, or else some assets. Okay, if you are rich enough. But this interest is the profit. Then what is the meaning of this? P plus I. The P, the snake, the amount, whatever the okay, you have taken the debt. That is a snake. Because the snake is going to bite you. That snake is going to bite you until you repay with the blood and some extra blood. Okay, and that is a snake. And this snake is always going to hiss and piss on you. Okay, venom. That venom is okay making you to work. That venom makes you work inside the 9 to 5 or 7. 9 to 5 or 7 or 9, depending upon your profession. Depending upon your profession. Depending upon the profession. So which means you have to go for that snake blood plus extra blood. Okay. So okay, why these systems existed, man? Okay, I don't understand why these systems existed. So why we are going for society which is completely divided, and why we are not going for community which is going for united. Divided and united, they are two different things. We need to go for united, not for divided. The government gets what? The government gets the salary that is taxed before okay before that money gets deposited inside the bank account. That is taxed. That is taxed. The salaries are taxed. Why it is taxed? It's in your name. Registered inside your name. That's the reason it is taxed. Actually, now there is tax, extra tax on every each and every single goods and commodities you buy. Salary tax. Okay, plus penalties, plus fines, plus renewal. Everything. Okay, renewal of certain insurance. Renewal of insurance. Every single thing goes to this big bird, the government. The rich man is going to get the profit, and he is going to eat the fruits of your labor. Okay, he and his entire generations. And he or she and his entire generations. Because they are born, they are born rich. They are born rich, but you are not born rich. Prophet means what? What is called as a prophet? What is called as a prophet? Which means someone is not getting the fruits of their labor. That is called as a prophet. That is first thing. And he gets the profit. Okay, I am not against the profit. Okay, he has to get profit because he has to sustain the business. But not too much in such a way that he is going to eat everything and keep himself. You need to understand that. Salary, tax, yeah, everything. Now you are chasing something that is called as a greed. That is called as greed, 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 greed. What is that greed? You are chasing the greed. You know what? Okay. And you know what? You are always going for the greed. This is the radius. This is the radius of the greed. And you know what? This radius emits each and every single time you see something. This is the greed. This is the radius of greed. Okay. The radius of greed and desires. The radius of greed and desires in life. Okay, this is the radius of greed and desires in life. Now, if this is the greed, now this is the bank. Okay, if you are investing in the bank and okay, you want to run away, you have to run away as soon as the stock has hit high. You are sending the money to the bank because you are withdrawing it from the demat account. Okay, sending. Okay, send to bank after profit. If you are losing this thing, okay, if you are losing it, if you are losing the money, huh? Bande! If you are losing the money, you are getting it. If you are losing the money, that goes to the share market. Okay, that rich man, it is going to go to the rich man. That money will be someone's. You don't understand. You need to understand that the money will be someone's, the rich man's. If you win, also that goes to the bank. If you lose, that money goes to someone, because wherever it goes, okay, if it goes to you, that is going to be killing your buying power. The bank's known for killing. Value is the same. That number, value means number is same. The buying power is reduced purposefully because they have to protect the loans. That is debt. The debt is an asset for them. Why the debt is an asset for them? Because maybe you or him, maybe rich man or else poor man, both of you, you have pledged something. What is the pledge? That is a salary certificate. Okay, if you are having the salary certificates, you have pledged the salary certificate to the bank. That means you have taken the oath. And ಹೂನಮ್ಮ ಹಚ್ತೀನಿ. You have taken the oath. You have taken the oath. What is the oath you have taken? The oath is simple, that you will work for the rest of your lifetime until you repay that particular thing with the interest. That is the salary certificate. That is also a pledge. That is also a collateral for them. Your salary certificates also can act as a collateral. That again, and for that salary certificate, they are giving you less because they are not holding anything. Because they have to hold your neck. What is that neck? Some asset which has high valuable income, high valuation. If they hold out your neck, then they will say, okay, for holding the neck, they will give out more money. For not holding your neck, okay, what is not holding your neck? That is salary certificate, which means you can leave the salary, you can leave the job at any point of time. Anything can happen to you. You can leave the job at any point of time, or else they can kick you out at any point of time. Means that is, they will think like, okay, they will think all the negative outcomes. They will think about all the negative outcomes before giving out anything to you. That's, you need to understand. That's a part of life. You need to understand. That's the first thing you need to understand. That's the first part. Now the second part, the banks, they will never ever, okay, they will always think negative. What will happen? This man loses the money. What will happen? This man loses the. You are going for someone steals it. That is losing the money. Okay, you are losing the job, or else you are quitting the job. Then what happens? Okay, because of high tension, pressure, blood. Okay, then lot of permutations, combinations. Then you are getting high anxious blood pressure. So all these things they will think before giving out you certain amount of money. That's the reason they will make you test your patience for getting one, even some part of money also. They will say, bring those papers, bring these papers, come on, sign it. Whatever they have to say, you have to just obey it. That's what they do. And that too for that particular amount which is generated out of thin air. Means that money does not exist inside the bank. And that's the reason they are taking the rope. You know what? That is the rope. What we call it? That thing. What they call it is attitude. They take the attitude. They take the attitude and they say, yes, this is a loan. You have to pay. Okay, well, I'm good. That is what they are famous for. Now, and that too for that particular amount, which does not exist in the real time. That is empty glass. And for that empty glass, you are paying the full glass. For paying the full glass with the blood and paying the full glass with the blood and extra blood you are going to pay. That is interest. That is the profit. Means the snake is always equal to blood plus profit. The snake is the debt. Means until you repay the debt, the snake is always biting your mind. The snake will be always biting your mind. That snake is always going to bite your mind. Okay, that you have to pay the loan, repay the loan with interest. Then you have to go and work. That is the snake. That snake will be embedded, injected inside, deeply injected inside your mind and heart and soul. That you have to work. That is snake. And that too for that particular thing which does not exist in the first place. That snake does not exist. And they have created the snakes. The banks are those monsters. The banks are those monsters which produce the snakes out of thin air. And for that snakes, you have to repay with the blood and some extra blood extra you have to pay. That is, blood means to get something and some profit which have to do. That's the reason the banks are always the monsters. You need to understand. The banks are never built for you. No bank inside the entire world, maybe SBI, maybe State Bank of India, Canara Bank of India, Central Bank of India, or Punjab National Bank, Sind Bank, Indian Overseas Bank. No bank inside the world is going to bang. Okay, is not going to help you. It is going to bang each and every single day by killing that buying power, that is reducing purposefully because they have to protect their debt, because their entire, okay, you think that their entire life is built on the deposits, their entire life is built on the debt. The banks are built on debt. The banks valuation goes on debt, how much their interest goes higher, and they want you to fail. Some of the bankers, they are evil. They want you to fail because they know when inflation happens, the asset prices are going to be high, and they are going to auction it, and they are going to make more profits to the bank. If they are evil, if they are good, well and good, I don't care. That is what the banks do. That is what the banks do. And when the banks do all these nonsense things, okay, because what is the nonsense thing? Giving the loans to the people which never existed in the first place inside the bank. That is a fractional reserve banking systems that is going to bank your wealth for the rest of your lifetime. Okay. Because the fractional reserve banking systems, they are built for inflation. You need to understand. The buying power is reduced. Okay, the valuation will remain the same because the value will remain the same, but that value has no value because that buying power is reduced. Finish. Again, the rich man, money will be money. Okay, when the common man invests in the stock market in order to have the compound growth over the time, if he wins, what he do? If he wins, okay, first case one, C1, what he will do? He will invest in the share. Okay, he will invest in. Okay, he has invested and he has got the profit. He will send it to the bank because he has to protect that, and the banks again will preserve the value. You have only three methods. You have only three methods. You have only three methods to get something, and that thing is going to be your death. Remember, if you deposit inside the bank's servers, they are going to preserve your values. The bank servers, okay, they will just type the number against your name. Okay, they will type your name, XYZ name, they will give some dash, and that write the they will write a number. And the systems, okay, what is the suffix? What is the prefix? That prefix is attached, and the currency denomination will be attached. The prefix, what is the prefix? The currency symbol. And what is the suffix? That currency which belongs to which country. Prefix, okay, dollar sign or rupee sign or else any sign. The dollar sign, if it dollar sign is there, that is a prefix. The number is there. And that USD, okay, you need to understand. Okay, you need to understand. I will say it. Always remember. Always remember. Okay, always remember. This is the formula. Always remember. Okay, whatever you are earning, that is a number. That's a number. And this is the prefix. The prefix of currency denomination. Okay. And the suffix is currency belongs to which country. These are the three different entities. And when you go inside the bank servers, this is inbuilt because the banks know they are working inside India or else any country. So inside India banks, R will be written inside. Okay, yeah, here it will be written. Okay, now this is USA. This is USA symbol. This is USA. This is USA. Okay, this is dollar symbol. This is dollar symbol. Dollars. This is dollar symbol. This is rupee symbol. Okay, if I write 10,000, this is 10,000. Then I will write USD. I have to write USD. Why? I have to show it belongs to, currency belongs to which country? The currency belongs to United States of America. This is the first thing. If I write the same dollar sign and if I write 10,000, I can write CAD, that belongs to Canadian dollar, that belongs to Canada. If I write 10,000 here, okay, then okay, this 10,000, if it's AUD, that is Australian dollar, that is same symbol, same symbol, but the currency values, they always, USDs are greater than CAD and greater than AUD. Means the currency powers, and these things are much greater than rupees. That's the reason the rupee is devalued. Okay, this is how you understand the formula. First, the prefix will be currency denomination. What is the currency denomination? Dollars or rupees or any, that number. That's a number is, okay, that's your blood. That's your work, hard work. Okay, that is fruits of your labor. Okay, so okay, can I write here? Prefix is currency denomination, then the fruits of your labor plus your currency belongs to which country? That is fruits of your labor. The fruits of your labor will be deposited inside the banks. Why? Okay, the fruits of your labor is what? Salary. That salary is deposited in the banks, and the banks will preserve that value. Okay, that is a number inside the server. But they are never ever, okay, but they want to kill the value. How to kill the value? Reduce the buying power over the time. Having inflation is directly, by creating the inflation directly proportional to time. But okay, why? Because the debt is an asset for them, and debt is an asset for them, because they always work for the debts, because the banks work for the assets. The banks always work for the assets. And what are you? You are a deposit. What is a deposit? That's a liability. That's a disadvantage. For whom it is a disadvantage? For the banks it is a disadvantage. But for you, that is an asset for you. Remember, that's a formula. And that's the reason the cross rule always holds right. Christ's cross rule. Okay, this is just Christ rule. But here, in real life, it's always like this. That is always like this. This one. So right now, you need to understand. Right now you need to understand assets and liabilities. Common man. Okay, common man. Okay, now you need to understand. This is bank, both sides. This is also bank. What is a bank? That is, draw the diagram here. This is a diagram. Okay, diagram of the bank. Okay, this is a diagram. This is a diagram. And the assets, liabilities, assets. For the common man, that is, okay, the assets, the bank assets, the common man, okay, always remember, this is right. For the common man, what is a liability? That is a loan. This loan is an asset. The loan for common man, the loan for CM is an asset for the bank. The loan for a common man is an asset for the bank, and the asset and the common man's asset. Okay, this is the loan for a CM. Okay, this is the asset. This is asset for a common man is the liability for the bank. Why the assets converts to liabilities? Why the assets converts to liabilities and the liabilities convert to assets? Assets. Okay, why? For common man. Okay, for common man. Common man. Assets. Okay, that is liability. For this is common man. For a common man, this is asset, and for this is thing, this is a liability. And for this one, the liability is an asset. Okay. This is uncommon man. This is an asset, and this is a liability. This is asset for a common man. For common man, asset. What is the asset? The deposit, what he has given it. And for whom it is a liability? The bank consider the deposits as the liability. And what is the liability for the common man? What is the liability for common man? The common man's liability is the loan, and this loan is an asset for the bank because you have given either a salary certificate, pledge. What is the pledge? Collateral. The collateral is your salary certificate, or else the real estate. Because only two, because you are not building, the stocks. I know this. Now, salary certificate. This salary certificate means you have to work tirelessly. That is the pledge. That is a pledge you have done. That's a pledge you have done. Okay, you have to work tirelessly. This real estate, what you have, that is going to give you more money. Okay, this is the loan which you have taken it, and this is the salary certificate you have taken it. For the salary certificate, they are going to give you less. For the real estate, they are going to give you heavy loan. They are going to give you heavy loan. Why? Because this real estate, they know that is going to appreciate means it is going to increase over the period of time. And the valuation, the LTV, that is LTV ratio, they have given it x by 2. The total value, that is the total value, x is the total value, the total valuation, they have given it total valuation divided by 2, x by 2 they have given. But this x is going to convert how much? Almost 4x or 5x over the period of time. Okay, or else, okay, some 2.2x over the period of, they know integration, and they know inflation is directly proportional to time. When inflation is directly proportional to time, okay, they know this real estate value is going to increase, okay, with respect to the time, because they are working for it. And they know one thing. What is that? These people, they will come, and these people, they will, these people can go for auction. Okay, even if this customer he fails, he fails, he or she fails, they can go for auction, selling it. This is the first. Because this is second. Okay, because this is a which they always think. Okay, so what is an asset for a bank that is a liability for a common man, and what is a liability for a common man? What is a liability for the bank that is an asset for a common man? Because the deposit is always an asset for a common man, but in the bank's books, that is liability, because that can disappear at any point of time, just like a gaseous molecules. And what is the what is the thing which is going to appreciate? That is going to be the real estate, that is going to be the gold, that is going to be the stock over a period of time. Because the governments of any country, they are going to provide the stability by investing in the share market. Yes, the governments are going to appreciate, the governments are going to invest in the share market. That's to your hard earned money which you have paid it by the blood through the tax. I'm working really hard to make you understand, but if you're not understanding the common things, because this, okay, you need to understand, you have to go back to the books, economics books, and study each and every single definition. So if you don't understand each and every single definition, I'm sorry, it is what it is. You have to understand that, okay, because if you don't understand this, I can't. So you need to understand, man, okay, you need to understand every single thing, you need to understand, because this entire thing is built upon lies. Because when an entire thing is built upon lies, then how you will understand? Because they have to show you the truth, and the truth has to be, you know what, the damage control, and the damage control, or else something very good, they have to show it. The cinema, just like a cinema, that you have to work hard for 30 years, you have to deposit the money inside the bank, always you have to preserve the money inside the bank only, you have to preserve your savings inside the bank only, that is going to bang 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 each and every single day, because that money loses the value over a period of time, loses the, okay, loses the power over the period of time. The money, the money's value, the money's number is safe, that remains the same, because if you go at any point of time, they are going to give it, because they have to give it. That is what the banks are known for. But they will not tell the other side of the story, that they will purposefully kill the buying power, and they are going to make you weak. It's just like a doctor giving an injection. A doctor is going to give an injection, managing the symptoms by not treating you, by not making you heal completely. But you will feel that as if you have got the strength, but you have never got the strength. Example, coronavirus vaccines. What was there inside? You have to go and study. I don't want to study. Yeah. So all these things they are doing. Okay, and when these things are doing, then I can't do anything. So you need to understand, because see the ink I have, because I'm working. I'm working, drawing the diagrams, drawing the diagrams. But if you don't understand anything, I can't do anything, because this entire thing is built upon what is asset, what is liability. You have to go and okay, because I can't make you explain everything, because I'm not having patience that much. Okay, those who can understand, they can understand. Those who don't want to understand, get lost. I don't care, because it is your life only. Your life, man. I'm not talking anything which is completely, okay, completely out of syllabus. Okay, because you have to go and study economics first. Because if you don't study in economics first, then I can't do anything. Because you have to go and study economics first. Because if you don't study economics, it's not my fault, it's your goddamn fault. Yeah, I'm getting sleepy, but still I have to do it for you. Because once I lose the interest, once I lose the interest over this thing, I cannot remember anything. Because until interest is there, yeah, interest is there. Because when interest is there, then only the man can tell what is there. But because if interest is not there, then how the man can tell? That's how the banks operate. If they, okay, why they are giving you loans? Because they can collect the interest, and that too the money which is not existed in the first place, they are getting the interest. Okay, the money which is not existed in the first place, if you make profit out of it, then it's called a scam. Are the banks running the scam or what? Because every single thing is built upon lies. Because the banks generate the money out of thin air. Because the banks generate out of thin air. If I give you 100, they will preserve 10 and the rest 90 lent out. Okay, but I can give you, if, okay, because I have to give $100 to someone. Okay, if I give, okay, see, if I want to earn something, okay, naturally, what I have to do? $100. Then I collect the interest. If I say, if I say, if I keep 100, out of 100, I will make the change. $10. Okay, if I will give you only $10, okay, to you, and I ask you to give me $90 interest. $90 plus interest. If I ask you, but I have given you only 10 to you. What are you gonna do me? What you will do me? What you will do to me? You will murder me first. You will put the assets and you will put murder me. You will kill me. You will burn me. Why? Because it's a scam. It's a scam. What the money does not exist in the first place. The money which does not exist in the first place, the banks are going to collect that money plus extra money, that is interest, and that extra money becomes their profit. And they are going to make, okay, out of the profit, whatever they got, they are going to make extra profit by the compound growth. That is again the fractional divide. They will do it, and again they will lend it out. And this thing will go on forever for the rest of period of lifetime, and no one is going to understand it. So that's the reason the entire world has a debt of 315 to 325 trillion US dollars, and nobody is going to repay that. But when we don't give the debt, but when we don't give the debt, but when we go, but when we don't give the debt with the interest, okay, when we don't repay the loan, they act like as if they are sharks, as if they are the snakes or the sharks. Okay, they are going to say, they are going to come and bang you. Okay, sir, you have not repaid the loan, sir. Please repay the loan in time, sir. Please, sir. They will send a message to you. They will say like this, and they will hang you almost, because it will be completely, they will feed your mind. Then, okay, then you are fed up of your mind. Then who is going to hang the governments then? Then who is going to hang the governments then? Who is going to hang the IMF? Who is going to hang the UNO? Who is going to hang the World Bank? And who is going to hang the Bank of International Settlements? And who is going to hang every single central banks of the entire world? Whose entire life, whose entire system is built upon lies and illusion that we are there for you. When those bastards, they create the money out of thin air, They print the money how much they want, how much they want, how much they want, whenever they want, wherever they want, in order to adjust the things. And they devaluate each and every single currency value, each and every single day. Each and every single day, they will print more and more and more cash, and they will devalue the value of currency each and every single point of time. Then that, and we have to pay the taxes really high in order to, okay, in order to adjust, in order to recoup for their sins. Then what the sin we have done then? Because one time, one day, you will be fed up of seeing all these things. Because you need to see. Because at the age of 27 or 28, I have seen, remember, I used to consider myself as a very unlucky man. Because I'm not unmarried, because I'm not married, I'm unemployed. Okay, I'm not married, I'm unemployed. I'm skilled, but I'm skilled, talented, crafted every single day of my lifetime. Okay, you can see by my skills only. You can see by my skills only. Even though I'm talented, skilled, crafted, I'm unemployed. I'm unemployed. That too, living in India. And that's the reason these governments are there. I've done only one mistake, that I have addicted to the gaming, and I lost hemoglobin. Yeah, I lost hemoglobin. That also. And I did not understand the coding. That's the reason I lost in between, the problem happened. And then the bank's exams are completely too high, too much high, so that I cannot cover that. I cleared the prelims, but I cannot clear the mains, because those mains exams, if we don't understand, and you know what, who will ask all this, okay, diagrams, everything, who will ask the entire thing, but they can't give me job, they can't give me job, government job. That's the reason the governments which is not going to give me job, then that's the reason I hate the government only. Those who will not give me, I will hate them directly. That's the reason I'm hating the governments. Then I studied every single government's loopholes. Then I studied every single thing. And I said, this is the thing which they are doing. Then I noted everything down. And I said, yes, there is a new life. Because at least I'm happy knowing that I am not feeding the monster. If I'm employed, I would have become happy. If I'm happy, I would have got wife and I have got a kid, which means I am distracted, diverted, diversified, because my choices, opinions, and my voices will differ according to how the rich man wants me to see the world. But I am seeing the world in front of my own eyes in a real way. That real reality exists in that particular thing. I am seeing that. So this is the reason you always need to have the rational thinking. When you have then when you have got the rational thinking, then you can start your own diagrams. Then you can create your own diagrams. Then you can see, because just you go on applying every single thing, whatever is coming inside your mind. Just your hands good should go on working. I did not know that, okay, I'm built for all these things. I did not know, because it naturally happens. It naturally happens once you get all the things, okay, inside your head. It can happen. Okay, now, okay, now these people, these people, they generate the accounts of thin air. They generate the loan accounts of thin air, and for that thing we have to pay out the loan with the interest. That thing never existed in the first place. Okay, and what is the asset for us? That is a liability for them. And what is the liability for them? What is a liability? Means we are put at disadvantage. What is a liability? That is a debt. That's the biggest asset for them. Because we have pledged what? We have pledged our house papers. We have pledged our car papers. We have pledged our everything. And that value is going to remain. That value is going to inflate. That value is going to inflate with respect to the time. When that value, okay, inflates with respect to the time, which means it is going to inflate, just like a Spider-Man. Okay, inflate, jump from one building to another building. Yes, that inflates. When that inflates, that value is inflating, that value is increasing over a period of time. The banks know this, and they have given 50% of that. They have given only 50% of less value. Means if I give you, okay, what is the thing which I should give you? okay, in order to make you work like a animal. But in order, I should not do anything, I should sit, okay, for the benefit of me. Okay, what should I do? I should give the amount for a less than, okay, for less than the worth of that value. Okay, I will hold the full value with me. I am holding the full value. The banks are holding the full value. Means they are having the papers. That paper's valuation will be with the bank. They can sell that paper and they can get the money at any point of time. But they can do that because you are paying the interest to them. Okay, so they are waiting, waiting, waiting. They are waiting like a shark. They are waiting like a loan sharks, that you are going to pay them the amount. Okay, means you are going to pay them amount. Okay, how you are going to pay the amount? By installments, by working really hard. So these people, they want you to pay the loan. So when these people, they want you to pay the loan with the interest, but also they know that the valuation of that particular real estate is increasing with respect to the time. If it is a real estate, if it is a house, if it is a car, if it is a car, it's useless. Why? Because if it's a car, okay, jewelry they can take it. Jewelry they want it. Why? Because the gold will appreciate with respect to the time. The gold appreciate with respect to time because it has inflation attached to it. The gold appreciate over time. The stocks appreciate over time. The real estate appreciates over time. Which means these three bank, okay, because the bank wants these three supreme machine guns, okay, with them, because that machine guns, they have value. What is that value? That valuation, they will have the full valuation. The banks, they have full valuation of that particular thing when your loan period starts. That is the first thing you need to understand. The banks will have full valuation of that particular thing. They are the owners of that particular thing on a temporary basis until and unless you pay it to the bank with the interest, and you can retain the ownership back by collecting those papers after you give out everything, okay, with the interest. That you need to understand. And that is the statement. Because whatever I've explained it to you, you need to understand that I am telling very slowly. Because if you don't understand, go get lost. Okay, if you understood, well and good, because your understanding capacity is very high. You need to understand that the valuation of the stocks, okay, because that is x by 2, that x by 2, because they have given only 50%, which means you are getting x by 2, but they have x with them. You have x by 2, but they have x with them. But they know the value of x is going to increase over time. But the x by 2 value, whatever you are going to do it, the x by 2, most of the common man, he does not know the compound growth. Most of the common man does not know the compound growth. If he does not know the compound growth, most of the common man, they does not grow no compound growth, and they are not going to increase that value. But the banks, they hold the real estate as the collateral, that is going to increase over the time, which means they are not in danger if they have held the real estate as the collateral. What is that? Your house, if you have pledged, you're gone, doomed. Why? The reason is simple. Which means you will lose that ownership when you don't pay. And the banks, they are happy that you don't pay. Okay, well and good, because the valuation has already touched high. That is what happened with Michael. I give an example. So x by 2, okay, always remember, no one will give you, no one inside the life, no one is there inside the life to help you. Neither the God, neither the government, neither the rich man, neither the banks. All are built for profits. Even the God too. Because, yes, afterwards. The governments, they want inflation, the banks want inflation, the real man, because okay, common man, the CM, the common man, they has held out real estate. That real estate, okay, common man has held real estate, or else the salary certificate. Why they ask? Because they want to know in which institution you are working. If you are working for a rich man, they know that his real estate stocks, how much it is growing, because they want to study the behavior of how much credit score he has, how much equity ratio he has, every single thing they want to study. And they will say like, okay, when they study all these things, then they will approve your loan. Okay, the banks, the real estate, the banks and the real estate and the salary certificates. The salary certificates, okay, the salary certificates you are going to produce. The salary certificates, when you are going to produce, when they check it, they will come to know the history. When they will come to know the history, okay, means they want to know whether you are going to pay out the loans with interest. A is equal to P plus I. Okay, when they know A is equal to P plus I, the A is equal to P plus I, the A is equal, okay, you are going to repay it, because they want to know the condition of that rich man, who is going to, in which company you are working, in which company you are working, that company is going in a loss or a profit. If that is going in a profit, well and good, because they are going to increase your salary, and that is going to help the banks in the long run, because you are going to pay that amount respectfully, that to an installment, because the banks want to check that. That's the reason they ask the salary certificates, because they want to check the condition of you, whether you are able to pay it back or not. That is first. Now the real estate, they will not ask any questions, because that's a pledge, because they know that's a strong collateral, the solid. Because the solids, what is a solid? The solid is going to appreciate over time. That is, the solid is always going to compound over time. The solid always increases over time. That is the stocks, bitcoins, real estate. The stocks, bitcoins, real estate, okay, and the land value, prices, and all these people, they want this thing. And the banks, okay, when they give you the loan, they will give you the loan by x by 2. And but okay, when they give you x by 2, always remember why I'm the banks, they always give you the real estate, for this real estate, for the common man, or okay, for the, okay, for okay, common man or rich man. The common man or rich man, okay, the bank always differentiate. Okay, remember, x divided by 2. Okay, and here also x by 2. But the banks have already held how much? Okay, this is x by 2. Why I'm writing in red color? This is red color. Why I'm writing in red color? Because you have not repaid it. Okay, when you repay it, this x by 2 value plus I, you have to pay it, and this x by 2 value plus I, you have to pay it. For business people who are taking the rich man is taking huge loans, that interest will be somewhat less. That interest will be very less, because that is in the term, okay, but because that is in the form of crores, that interest in the form of crores, the interest they have to pay it out in crores. When the interest is in crores and crores, means millions and millions and billions and billions of dollars, okay, which means these people x by 2 plus I, this interest is in crores. When this interest is in crores, that's the reason the interest is very less. The interest of a rich man, the rich man, is much lesser than the interest of the common man. The common man has to pay out more interest than the rich man, which means the interest paid by the working class fellow is going to be much greater than interest paid by the rich man, which means the interest also, they are going to have the interest. And again, this interest is going to be somewhat this much, and this interest is going to be This is common man. This is the rich man. This is this much. And for a common man, it is going to be this much heavy, because the value is less. The interest will be high, and the value is more. The value is more. The interest will be less. See the arrow. And see the arrow. So which means this entire thing is too much complex to anyone. It is complex to understand, because okay, and they know x by 2 plus I. Okay, you need to understand. Okay, always, if I consider stock value as 50%, if I consider stock value as 50%, if I consider stock value as 50%, okay, LTV ratio is 50%. Okay, LTV ratio is 50%. The banks, the 50%. Okay, the banks will give it to the rich man. Okay, what is that? The loan. That's a debt. The debt. This is okay. Amount is equal to, he has to pay that full amount plus entire amount. That 50% is what? Okay, that is x by 2. He has to pay, okay, x by 2 plus I. When he has to pay x by 2 plus I, okay, this x by 2 he knows. Using this x by 2 he knows how to increase the value over a period of time. With respect to the time, using the buy borrow die method, or else borrow buy and die method. Okay, he knows how to convert this x by 2 plus I. Okay, because he knows he's going for compound growth. He goes for compound growth, and he knows how to influence the government to shape the policies inside his favor. Okay, that's the reason he gives them campaign funds. Okay, party funds he will give it, and he gets the subsidies. And you know what? He writes the losses and gets the tax refunds. In America it happens. Okay, IRS. Okay, that is IRS. Okay, I don't know about India. And you know what? Okay, and he goes for charity donations. And he mixes the white with the black, white plus black, and adjust. Okay, that is for adjusting. And he invests in sports. Okay, why he invests in sports? Because again, to adjust the balance sheet. It is never for trophies. It is never built for winning the trophies and everything, because they have to adjust the balance sheets, and they have to submit it to the government. Simple. Every single thing happens beside your minds, beside your thing, because every single they can't come out and say, okay, I've done this. Okay, they will never say. They will never understand that. So the debt is equal to x by 2 plus I, because they know how to increase that x by 2 value to, okay, they will increase that x by 2 value in such a way, because this, okay, in x by 2 value, who is working? You. Small. That's the reason. Okay, in x by 2, who is working here? In x by 2, whatever the money he gets, that becomes the big. Okay, that becomes what? Okay, that becomes x for him. Okay, okay, forget about this. In this x by 2, he invests and hotel he invests, hotel plus school. Okay, whatever it may be, and that is going to give him compound growth. The hotel and the restaurant is going to give him, the hotel and the restaurants, they are going to give him compound growth. The digital store, or else the printed, okay, or else the physical store. Okay, he will dress shops. Okay, which means always he goes for the compound growth, and he goes for compound growth. All these factors, they will decide his compound growth. And he goes for the investments in energy sector, telecom sector, and the industry sector, and the factories, textiles, everything he will go. And then he is going to buy thing, because he will collect every money from every single opportunity, every opportunity he's going to get from every single thing, and then he has to submit that small part of that amount to the banks, and he has to submit the small part of the amount to his all employees, and he will get the big chunk, and he will keep it in the LLCs. And because he cannot keep it inside the banks, because that banks are not safe, he knows that thing. That's the reason he has built LLCs, offshore accounts, and the Swiss banks, okay, those who are completely secretive for him. That is what everything is all about. But he knows how to match that x by 2. He Because that x by 2, he will build an establishment. He will build an establishment. He will build an asset from x by 2. He will build an asset that is going to produce a revenue, and always the asset is going to be there. Hotel is a hotel. The hotel is not going to be destroyed when it is being constructed. Once it is constructed, once the building is constructed, once the dining halls, everything is constructed for the food, the people will come and eat. That's an asset that produces the revenue continuous. Hotels, restaurants, school is a school that is not going to be destroyed. And at the same point of time, the schools are not taxed. Educational institutions are not taxed. He has to. That's the reason the schools, colleges, and the medical institutions, universities, they are the great investments. They say it is an educational institution, but for the rich man, it's the greatest investment. For the ministers who want to convert black to white, that's the biggest investment. So all these things are there, man. All these evil things are there. So they know how to convert x by 2 to some with that will stay forever. Whatever the establishment is there, that establishment will stay forever. That hotel is going to be staying forever. That hotel stays there forever. That hotel stays there forever. When the hotel stays forever, you cannot do anything. You need to understand. Okay, you need to understand that. Okay. So that hotel stays forever. And when that hotel stays forever, you cannot destroy that hotel. And that hotel is going to produce a revenue. That school is going to produce a revenue. That college is going to produce a revenue. That energy sector is going to produce a revenue. The telecom sector is going to produce a revenue because we will subscribe to that thing. That digital store is going to produce a revenue. We will buy from that store. That is okay. That factories are going to produce a revenue, which means he has captured every single thing on this entire one particular land because he has that many. That is wealth he has. That is, he is concentrating that wealth towards the assets that is going to appreciate over the time, as well that is going to produce the revenue over a period of time. What I say? See, I will say. Because that wealth, okay, because this word should flow. Okay, he has the wealth. That wealth concentration, he is using it for the assets, and that asset is going to compound the value. That valuation compounds over the period of time. Okay, and then he is going to invest in that particular asset, and then he is going to get the revenue, and that is the revenue plus profit, revenue or the profit from it. So he wants his valuation, he wants that asset value to compound over the period of time. That is first. And the second thing, he's going to invest in it. Yeah, okay. What is the meaning of this? What is the wealth concentrated? That is, he going to build the assets. Assets are what? Hotels. Okay, hotels, schools, colleges, universities, and the energy sector, telecom sector, industries, and okay. Once you start a telecom sector, anything, industry, telecom industries, which means that is telecom industry stays forever if you maintain the servers. Okay, finish. If you maintain the profits, if you are able to pay when your business runs, and you know what, that valuation remains forever. That industry, if you invest in industry, that remains forever. If you invest in factories, that is going to remain forever. If you invest in telecom sector, that is going to remain forever. Okay, if you invest in energy, if you invest in the restaurant, everything, okay, that is going to remain forever. But the assets value will come, means the hotel valuation, in 2020 is not the same as 2030, because that hotel valuation has jumped over a period of time. That school valuation, what is there inside 2020, that is not the same inside at 2030, because that valuation, okay, has compounded over time. The same goes for the physical stores and the universities, medical institutions, everything. Every single year, with respect to the inflation, that inflation is directly proportional to time, that is a snake. Okay, that thing inflates, means the size of the snake grows bigger and bigger, and you are never able to reach that snake, that anaconda. And so that's the reason the rich man always maintains the snakes. So that's the reason. Okay, remember, always remember. Remember, he maintains the assets. What is the asset? The asset is a very cow for you. What is cows and what is snakes? The cows versus snakes. The cows always, the cows. What is a cow for you? Okay, that cow is an education institution. That cow is an education institution. That cow is an education institution. That cow is the holy medical institutions. That cow is the hotels and restaurants where you eat. That cow is the energy sector. That cow is the industries. That cow is the factories. But this man is converting that cow for a rich man, a cow for a common man, into a snake for okay, snake for their survival. Because these assets, they are okay. He is not taking that asset in his ownership. Most of the times he will never ever take those things in his thing, because he is, I think, okay, I am missing something. Okay, he's going to pass that money to the LLC, okay, by layer wise. Okay, that is different theory. Okay, but he knows that the valuation of these buildings will increase over the time. That valuation of the buildings will also increase over time, and there is going to invest in that, and he is going to get the revenue or the profit, and he is going to give it small amounts to the employees. He is going to starve them, and at the same point of time, he is going to give the whatever the loan he has taken. He is always in debt. He wants to be in debt. He enjoys the debt. The rich man is built for debt. Every single thing he has debt. Only debt. He wants to have debt. Okay, when he wants to have a debt, and because he wants to pay out interest, okay, the loan percent, loan is equal to P plus I. Okay, that loan, okay, whatever taken, that, okay, amount is equal to P plus I. He wants to pay it in installments, and he wants to pay it out in, yeah, okay, and whatever the extra money he gets, he is going to be happy with what? He's never going to be happy, because he will send that to LLCs. And okay, when he sends that to LLCs, he escapes the ownership of that particular money. When he escapes the ownership of that particular money, he is not going to be taxed. Means he has successfully evaded the tax paid to the government, because that is not in his name. But your salaries are in your name. You have to pay the tax to it. And he maintains the loans, because the loans are not taxed, and he accepts the salaries in the form of a stocks, because the stocks are not taxed until it is liquidated, because it is an unrealized gain, right? He takes the loans which are not taxed. He accepts the salaries in the form of stocks, because because the stocks are not what, okay, are not taxed until it is liquidated, until it is sold out. Because when it is sold out, that is belongs to your name, that is going to be, yeah, that's the reason the stocks are never sold. That is never, okay, that is never sold. The stocks are never sold. Okay, and if they sold, then that is belongs to his name only. Then when it belongs his name, then he's going to be taxed. So he wants to escape from the tax again and again and again and again. He never wants to pay the tax to the government. So he wants the debt free. Okay, he wants to have the debt that is going to be non-taxable, and you know what, and he never wants to pay the tax. He just want to pay the interest amount is equal to P plus I and stay there forever for the rest of eternity to come. That's the reason. They always say tax the rich, tax the rich. But the government will never tax the rich. The government is helpless because all the rules and regulations are built for them, not you. And the government gets the funding from the rich. Man, you need to understand. The government always gets the funding from the rich man. Finish. So, which means the government is helpless, you are useless, but he is careless about you. So, what you need to do? Nothing. Go and cry. That is left. That is nothing is left, man. Nothing is left. Because I have seen all the methods. Because every single method has checkmated you. But that's the reason you need to understand that. Because this thing will never ever end. Okay, because when this thing will never ever end, okay, then okay, that's the reason you can't do anything. Because my anger should flow out. Because I'm not slept for almost 7 to 8 months, knowing all these things. Because how can you get sleep, man? How can you get the sleep knowing all these things? That okay, what you are going to pump the blood. You're going to pump the blood. What is the blood? You're going to work for 9 to 5 or 7 and 9. And when you're going to put out inside the bank is going to bang it out because you know what they have to preserve the value but kill the power. Okay, preserve the value, kill the power. What is the meaning of that? Okay, they have to cure you. They should not completely cure you but just manage the symptoms in such a way that you are going to lose the immunity over the period of time. That is the one thing. And the second thing, okay, and I have to pay the taxes to the government because the salaries are in my name. Because salaries are in my name. When the salaries are in my name, I have to pay the taxes because salaries will be in your name. Okay, the first thing. And the provident fund will be cut because the provident fund will be utilized by the government to borrow. The government will borrow versus the pension funds and they will provide the interest. They will invest in somewhere. Okay, and whatever the profit they got, again they will sell for gold development, but they will never do Ghanta development because they know they have to do what? They have to do what? They have to take the corruption money again that goes to them again. So that yes, and on every single goods and commodity, you are paying the tax to the government. Finish. And you know what? This is the thing. You know what? Okay. And your money, whatever the tax you are paying, the government is investing in USA Treasury bonds. India. All the governments they have invested in USA Treasury bonds. Because USA is the global reserve currency. And they can print any amount of cash whatever they want. The Federal Reserve is famous for printing the cash, how much it wants, devaluing every single dollar, every single day they print. They will take this paper, they will take this paper. They will print the cash how much they want. Which means they will print any amount of cash they want. Because they escaped the 2008 crisis like this only. Print the cash, print the cash, print the cash, print the cash, print the cash. When you print the cash, devalue the dollar, devalue the currency, devalue everything, and then ask the citizens of that particular land to pay high taxes, pay high taxes for our mistakes. For our mistakes which we should not have already done, because that mistake is done by the Wall Street greed boys, because those boys they have completely invested in completely greed, because we are completely invested in the greed. Means the government does not invests in for your welfare. The government never ever invests for your welfare. You need to understand. The government always invests in the share market. The share market can go up and down. Up, well and good. Yes, they are going to get the money, profit. Does the government pays you dividends? Why? Because they have to pay it. They have to pay it because you are the investor. When you are the investor, you have to pay the money back. Okay, when you are the investor, you have invested in the government through the taxes, through the fines, through the penalties, through the insurance, the renewal of insurance. Means every single money goes to the government. And okay, the goods and commodities, your salaries are taxed, and your goods and commodities, whatever you pay, that tax is also going on. Means you have paid every single thing. Ghar ka patti, the house tax, everything you have paid. The house tax, the fuel tax, every single thing is tax. Okay, well and good. Every single thing you have paid means you should get the money. But this goddamn evil bastards, they will say like, we are going for the development of country. But okay, when the country development itself they are doing okay like hell. Then how the hell we are going to allow them for the development? But they are not going to do any development. They're going to keep 60 or 70% inside their pocket, and they're going to do some 25 to 40% corrupt. Okay, development that is going to do. And if the share market goes completely down, then these people will ask again, pay high taxes, please. Pay high taxes. Pay high taxes. Because the tax should be raised. Okay, and they will not ask that the tax rates will be okay in such a way that those taxation systems, they will never ever tell you the entire picture. They will pass that value through the tariffs and the custom duties. Finish. Done. And these people, even though the currency value is devaluing, they are going for imports greater than the exports. When they import it, when they want to import high crude oil, how much crude oil they want to import, means they have to pay out extra amount of dollars, extra amount of cash. That is in rupees. They have to pay out a lot of rupees in order to get $1. And the USA currencies, the crude oil trade is in USA currency only. They have to pay out every single thing inside the particular reserve currency only, that is in dollars, and they are going to pay it out through the dollars. And okay, the imports is greater than exports. When the currency devaluation is already there, $1 is equal to 90 rupees, which means you have to pay that trade deficit. They will manage the trade deficit. They will have the trade deficit, and that trade deficit cost they are going to pass it out through you by increasing the fuel prices. That means you are gone, which means imports greater than exports, you are gone. Share market investment, you are gone. Treasury bonds, you have paid the taxes everywhere. That goes to the USA for their people and their development. Well and good. Now the fourth one, they are going to adjust the balance rates through the inflation. They are going to adjust the balance sheets, so balance rates not adjusting the balance sheets through the inflation. What is the meaning of that? These people will go for foreign trips. These people will go invest everything by the government only. They will spend it. Means they will spend very huge amount in their entire lavish lifestyle. They will sit and eat. Okay, they will sit and eat. Okay, and what they will do? They will do the corruption, and they have to submit the report back to the concerned authorities that we have spent this much. Okay, that is the cost. Finish. And when the government overspends its expenditure, what it will do? That budget is there. That budget is there. That budget is this much. That budget is this much. They have exceeded the budget, and they have done this much. And this is the budget, and this is the budget. And for this budget, you have paid already the taxes. You have already paid the taxes for this budget. Okay, for this budget, whatever the RBI, the central banks have allowed the government to spend, okay, for the development, they have spent already this much. But they have to give the report to the central banks again. But they have spent this much. But they have spent this much. But if and for this much you have paid already what? The taxes. You have paid already the taxes. And these people, this one, where they are going to bring? If they will say, sir, citizens of India or any country, we have spent lavishly on ourselves and we have done some corruption, so that we are not able to adjust the balance sheets, so please pay extra taxes to adjust that remaining thing whatever we have done. But if they tell it, you are going to be done. Why? Why they are going to do it? Because you need to understand, because you will come with the slippers, sandals, boots, and the chappals, and some iron rods, and some assets. Okay, and you will say, brother, we have already paid the taxes to you. What happened to with that? We have managed everything. You can't tax us more because already whatever it is, budget is there. Okay, we have paid the taxes to it. The citizens will share, and then okay, the governments, what they will do? Yes, they have to balance the adjust sheets with the inflation. But you need to understand, the balance sheets are going to be adjusted by increasing the grocery prices, by increasing the daily goods and commodities prices by this much, by this much. But they say this much. But remember, you are not going to take one good and commodity. Okay, because they know already, because they have that mind. How much you are going to take? How much you are going to take? One sabun you are going to take. One soap you are going to take for one daily month. You are not going to take one soaps. You are going to take almost from 5 to 6 soaps, 6 to 5 to 6 soaps, some 4 to 5 detergents, or some 10 to 15 detergents. Okay, for okay shaping, okay, for washing the clothes. Okay, washing the clothes, and okay, washing the utensils, everything. Means okay, the grains. You will not take 1 kg for consumption. You need extra sugar, salt, everything. Means every single price, if it is going to be increased by small, and at the same point of time, these people, they will never ever increase all the prices at one point of time. They will decrease some period of some things. Okay, so that you will not understand the pattern. Because you need to understand, whenever the government whenever they do anything, they have certain backstabbing methods. So what they will do, they will just increase the prices, and you have to, okay, and the tax is hidden, and then they have collected the taxes this much. And you need to understand, you are not the only man who is living in that particular land or in that particular country, and that price is the universal price that is decided by the federal central government. Finish. The person who is sitting in the New Delhi, he is going to decide your life, and you have to pay the taxes because you have to get the goods and commodities, because you have to wash your skin daily. Okay, jaka, bathroom, bathing. Yeah. You have to eat, means yeah, you have to survive, otherwise you'll get, yeah, okay, symptoms, and you are going to be unhealthy because you have to consume. Which means they are keeping the trigger, they're keeping the trigger they're keeping the trigger on treasury bonds. The treasury bonds, everything, they are going to pay it out, man. They're going to pay it out. Imports is greater than exports. Yeah, I've written everything. Borrowers of the pension funds, hidden sales tax. See, whatever I've written, see here, greater than exports. Okay, because more number of notes should be given to the foreign countries for imports, crude oil, other whatever I said. Treasury bonds. Adjusting the balance sheets. 14 km they have run, 10 km adjusted, but the government cannot ask the citizens to carry the extra load. Yes. So again, the borrowers' pension funds. The government invests in the stock market and the public invests in the stock market, then who is going to benefit? The rich man is going to benefit, the real cash, by borrowing versus it, because he has got the stocks, huge number of holder. Ambani, Adani, and they have already the millions of shares, and the government invests in the share market. Why the government invests in the share market? Why the government invests in the share market? Even though if it is very, because it is going to produce the high profits compared to the other things. Okay, well and good. If it is going to produce the high profits, if it is going to produce the high profits, then that profit should be used for the benefit of us because we have paid the taxes. Where is the development? The government invests in the stock market. The public invests in the stock market. Why? Okay, but the public has cannot become at a time rich because it has to. They have to because they have only 100 or 200 shares. Okay, but these people they will have huge number of okay holders means they have millions of shares. The Ambanis, the Adanis. Okay, when Mukesh Ambani was inside his womb of his mother, which means the wife of Dhirubhai Ambani, he had already those stocks with him. The Gautam Adani, when he was inside the womb of his mother, he already had those stocks with him. So the rich man's, okay, or else the Akash Ambani's daughter, or else the, what, Akash Ambani or Anant Ambani, those babies, whenever they were at their womb, that 9 month period, which means before their birth only, they have those stocks, they have that valuation with them. That you need to understand. Which means that baby, that rich man's baby, the Narayan Murthy and the Sudha Murthy's that particular daughter has given the birth to that grandson or any granddaughter. He has paid some 240 crore to that particular thing, and they call themselves as a simple guys. They have gifted it, which means that baby has a valuation of that Infosys. Finish. Before its birth. Finish. Now, because they are going to take over and they are going to enslave the entire generations. That you need to understand. Because in their birth, when their birth happens, they are not going to learn A for apple, B for ball, C for cat, D for dog, E for elephant, F for frog, G for God. Okay, yeah. But they are not going to learn all these things. What they are going to learn? These people, they are going to learn. A for asset, B for brokerage, B for Bitcoin, C for credit score, C for credit score, right? Yeah. Yeah. D for deflation, D for debt, E for equity ratio, F for what? Fractional reserve banking system, foreign exchange reserves, I for inflation. They are going to learn all these things. S for stock, S for shares, R for real estate, R for revenue, P for profit. Okay, and B for buy, borrow, die method. All these people, they are going to, all these daughters, don't say that they are daughters, they are the enslavers. The future generations are going to be the enslavers of humankind. Any rich man's son or daughter, that baby, don't think that as a baby that is going to be devil one day. That goddamn baby is going to be a devil one day. Why? Because it knows how to stock borrow it. Why? Because their parents, they have told him or her to do what? Borrow it, enslave it, because don't pay the taxes. Because these people, they are useless. They are what? And when you come to know all these harsh realities of life, then your heart will become what? A stone. And then you will say like, there is no God and there's everyone is a Satan. That's the thing you need to understand. There are only Satans everywhere. There are only Satan. There is no God. Even the God has, when the God keeps quiet, then I am asking him whether he is a God or whether he is a Satan. Because that's the reason. There are only Satans. There are only Satans. There is only devil. There is only a devil. There is only evil. Remember, even I am evil right now because only an evil man can understand the evil things. These are all evil things. Whatever I am saying this. These are all evil things. I should not say all these things because I am putting my life under pressure and saying this. I don't know whether I am going to live or not. Because the government, they don't want you to know all these things. Okay, because they want to censor the information. They want to manipulate the minds. They want to diversify, distract everyone. Because that's the reason you are boozed into that particular thing. You want women, you want women, you want women. Don't go after women. Don't go after women in this economy. Please, I'm saying this. You're going to do the biggest mistake. I will cover that topic in next topic. But I am saying this, don't go after women. Always go for saving the money. Don't go for women anyhow. By legal method, illegal method, don't go for anyone. Don't go for anyone. Preserve the money. Preserve the money. Keep it inside your pocket. Don't give it to the banks. Don't give it to the banks because the banks are going to bank the wealth of the rich man, of the common man, and they are going to send that to the rich man and the government because the banks are just a mediator and they take the commission from us. That is interest. They are never ever built for you. They are never ever built for you. But you need to understand that. But when you understand all these things, then you will not cry. First you will vomit. Then you will cry. Because whatever the money is there, where it is flowing somewhere else. And who is paying everything? It's you who are paying everything. Means you are not allowed to become great. If you are not allowed to become great, because if you become great, then you will not work. That Karl Marx theory will happen. Means this is a corundum. This is dharam centered. If you get extra money, then why you work? If I give you 15 lakh salary, 20 lakh salary, or okay, if someone gives you 50 lakh salary or 1 crore salary for every job, then how will he work? Because he has lost incentive to work. Losing the incentive, mitigation of work, Karl Marx theory will happen. I cannot blame these people, but I cannot justify these people. Which means, what should I do? I should sit and cry. I cannot do that. Because the money where it is flowing somewhere else. It is flowing somewhere else, and whatever it is incoming for you, whatever the investment you have done whatever the investment you have given to the government, through the taxes, through the fines, whatever the investment you have given to the government, through the taxes, through the fines, through the penalties, through the renewal of insurance, everything, whatever you have paid, that foreign investment, tourism, whatever the profits you have done for the government, that profits is all the money is going for this particular things. Share market, pension funds, borrowing versus pension funds, they will print the cash. These bastards will print the cash how much they want. They will print the cash. When they print the cash too much, what will happen? That is going to devalue the dollar. That is going to devalue the currency, devalue the rupee. So, again I have to explain it to you. And how much I have to explain it? How it is going to devalue it? I will tell you. Because I have to finish these things. Because this thing is eating my mind. See here. One banana. I have shown this example, but still, one banana, $1. One banana, $1. And you know what? Okay, let me bring